The purpose of the manufacturing the test is to screen out the defective parts before they are shipped to the customers. Because when they're manufacturing some equipments or some product, before shipping to the customers, they have to be tested the how many the defective parts. I think they should not have any more defective parts. So example, they are manufacturing some around 100 products. So what they were to do, out of 100 product, without testing, if they send to the customer, out of the 100, if it is 50 products or defect products, what will happen? The product, then the customers will be unhappy with that because of the 50% of the product is defect. So instead of that, what they will do, once the manufacturing is done, they will do the test itself. Why? Because nowadays, if I say IC, the ICs will be used in the the wide areas actually. That too, some of the very important place, example, the industries and in the medical field actually. So in the industries and medical field, in the sense, if we say that should be very careful, we have to be very careful about the product. If it is goes defect, if the defect rate is little bit more, then there will be loss will be more over there. So that is where typically the commercial product target, defect rate will be how much, in the sense like normally it will be 350 to 1000 defects per million actually. So that will call as DPM. So you can say per million the defects will be 350 to 1000 only. So for million it is 1000. You can say it will make very less percentage on the defects will be there. Almost 99.5%, or we can say 19, more than 99%. It will be good product only. So that is why you can say the high defect rate leads to unhappy the customers. So now what are the different methods to perform the manufacturing testing? Here the methods are, the first one of the method is fault model. The second one is observability. Third, controllability. Fourth, fault coverage. It is automatic test pattern generator, shortly we'll call as ATPG. And final one is delay fault testing. So these are the methods to testing in the manufacturer level. First, before we enter that, we need to know what is meant by defects, what is meant by fault, what is meant by error. Because all the three terms will look like similar meaning, you know that. But in terms of when it comes to our circuit, that is IC design, in the testing side, what is meant by the defect? The defect is the thing, but defects are circuit failures and malfunction due to manufacturing process. We can say example, we can say like while doing the manufacture, so there will be a short circuit and there will be a open circuit. What I can say, that meaning is, so we are having a P substrate. Above the P substrate, there will be a silicon dioxide layer. After the silicon dioxide layer, we may have the we'll do the diffusion process of polysilicon. Example, I can say, right? So now this will be the one layer polysilicon. This is the substrate actually. So now what we'll do, normally we'll apply input to polysilicon over there. So this is our substrate. Normally the substrate will be connected to either VDD or VSS. Now what will happen? So if it is the silicon dioxide layer, that is gate oxide layer, it's not proper, if it is not uniform, if there's problem over the here example, what will happen? If there is a gap example, you think here, then there will be a short circuit. So that is why you can say while doing the manufacturer also we can say it is short circuit, or I can say in simple way, the manufacturer side we'll go for a PCB board. Okay. So while doing the PCB board, actually what will happen, from this is the one point and this is the one point, while they're doing the soldering, that is the manufacturer side, what will happen, like the example, when I do this, if this should be clear, so these should not touch. If it is touches, what will happen? Automatically become as short circuit. So same kind of, I can say some of the open circuit also will be there. So now what we'll do, that is nothing but they are defects. The defects are the circuit failures and malfunctioning due to manufacturing process. Next, fault. Fault in the sense, small faults, the models the influence of defect. on the circuit operation. So now once the circuit is designed, now based on the defect, like defect circuits, how in the sense we have to check each and every nodes we have to check. Say example, if I'm having a one gate, so how I know this gate is working correct? How? Because we need to apply the proper input test pattern over there. Based on that, we need to observe the output here. Correct. So if it is not properly giving based on the truth table, I can say if it is not matching the truth table, then I can say there is a fault in this circuit internally somewhere. That is the meaning of that. So that is why here the line node, this here the line node is nothing but this is the line node LK. That is the wires that only we can call this line node is permanently stuck at 0, stuck at 1. Here this is a very important test, the model that is called as the fault model is one of the very popular model. What is the meaning of stuck at 0 and stuck at 1? Stuck at 1, from the name only I can say it is stuck at 0 itself, means it's permanently connected to 0. Stuck at 1 means that corresponding line, this is what I can say, this is line or the node is permanently connected to 1, means this one is permanently connected to VSS, this is permanently connected to VDD. That is the meaning of that. Next, what is the error actually? Errors are the incorrect logic response of the circuit under presence of fault. So due to this fault, actually, what will happen? The incorrect logic response we may get as the output. That is called as error. Normally, when you do the simulation, what will happen? You might have written the program. So what happens when you give the input as 0, 0 for a AND gate? If it is giving us output as 1, then that is a error actually. So that is the error in the sense. Next, what you have to do? How we got that error? There will be some fault. If there is some fault in this, you have to check the input, like applying any one input, then properly you have to check. How the fault has occurred, you have to go little bit internally of the gate. That is, you have to find out what is the whether it is defect or not. You have to check. That is why all three terms are interconnected, we can say. Now, just example here, let us say, see, example, consider the two input AND gate. This is the two input AND gate. Now, what is the defect actually? See here, this diagram, A, here metal line. This is what A, metal line. B, this metal line. And ground is nothing but VS. Because you should think this is nothing but your layout. Assume this is the layout actually. Okay. So now the B and the ground is, see what happened? It is short circuited. So I can say it is nothing but it is like it's a short ground. See, the B is a short ground actually. So I can say it is defected. Next, what is the fault? The fault is here. The B, the input B actually, right? The input B, it is stuck at 0, means it is permanently connected to ground. That is what the fault. Then what about the error actually? When I apply A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1, if I get C is equal to 0, then it is error actually. Because of AND gate, 1, 1 I should get as what? 1 I should get. So this is the error I can say. Note that the error is not permanent always. The error is not permanent as long as at least one input is 0. There is no error in the output. So example here, if both are 1, I may think if I get output as 0, then it is a error. But if it is any one input is 0, so example means 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, this 0 is correct only. But only the for combination of 1, 1 only given. That is why I can say note that the error is not permanent actually. As long as at least one input is 0, there is no error in the output actually. That is why sometimes what we'll do while doing in our program, in our HDL lab, we might have seen if I'm having 8 combination of input, I may get for 7 combination, I may get correct output. You may think, yes, my circuit is working fine. But what about the last 8? When you check for the last combination, if it is not providing the correct output, then there is an error over there. So that is nothing but the error. Now, first, let us discuss about the fault model. So why fault model? First, it is a very popular model in the industries which they use the fault model in the manufacturer level. That is the number, the physical defects in a chip can be too many. For example, if the that physical defects in your chip, if more number of defects are there, how the defects will be more numbers in the manufacturing side. The problem due to what? Due to it is very difficult to count and analyze all possible fault. Say example, if I'm having any one IC which is defected IC, then it is very difficult for me to count and analyze all the possible fault. Means the all possible fault in the sense, if I'm having some circuit internally, the line I can say that is a wire, right? Each and every stage of the wire I have to check. So if the number of physical defects in a chip can be too many, then it is very difficult to count and analyze the all the possible faults. That is a one. So for why fault model I'm saying, okay, so if this is the case, the fault model we can use it over there, and we can abstract the physical defects and define some logical fault models. If you define some logical fault model, means you have to keep some line as 0 or you have to keep some line as 1, then you have to find out whether there is a mistake or not. So it will drastically, it will reduce the number of fault to be considered. So makes test generation and the fault simulation possible actually. So it will be very easy to make the test generation. So here the description levels of modeling, fault modeling here. What are the description level in the sense, like these are the various different abstraction levels for fault modeling. So in this level, you can fault modeling can be done in the behavioral level. That is higher level language can be used, C, C++, HD language, C, system C language, anything you can use. Now, in the level of functional also we can do the fault modeling that is specified at RTL. RTL means register to register transfer level. The fault models are block specific and not in general normally. The fault models are block specific. Next, one of the very popular fault modeling is structural actually. That is specified as netlist, typically at the level of gates and flip-flops. So that is we have to make assumption the block is nothing but it is a gate. This is the block I can say. One single gate is a block or fault free. The interconnection between the blocks can be faulty. Say example, if it is this is your one OR gate, then I'm having a connection of one AND gate over there, here, one AND gate. Then this will not have any, it's a fault free actually. Where will be the fault normally? From one block to another here. This we have to, that is why between the block can be faulty actually. So that is why with the help of the structure we can find out. Now we can go with the switch level also is possible using NMOS or CMOS circuitry by CMOS. Then geometry level fault modeling, that is the layout. In this level actually be more accurate will be there, because that is why while you have to properly draw the layout diagram, there it will be very easy for us to check, because everything, all the three like defect, fault, error, all three are interrelated, especially when you do in the layout, because only in the layout only easily I can say whether it is short circuit or is a open circuit. Because how can I say short circuit example in the sense not only connected, I can say one thing like a metal one and the one more metal one, it's running very closely. What will happen if it is running very closely, that also sometimes maybe form as a short circuit actually. So that can be avoided. Sometimes what will happen, you are connecting here, from here one metal load you are getting, another metal load you are getting. So you might have connected, but you are thinking it is connected. You are thinking, see here, it is connected actually. But when you do zoom here in this place, just carefully you do zoom over there, what will happen? There is here open circuit here. Due to this also, the circuit will not behave correctly. So these are the things you need to be very careful. The basic idea is to ensure that the interconnections are fault free actually, and are able to carry both logic 0 and logic 1 signals. Like the interconnection, that is a wiring. Just you can assume like this only. The wire able to carry the logic 0 and logic 1 signals. Now the popular structural level fault models are, these are the very popular structural level model we use in the industrial actually. That is Stuckert fault model. That is one of the very popular Stuckert fault model. Then bridging fault model. The Stuckert fault model in the sense Stuckert 0, Stuckert 1. Bridging fault model means it is like I can say Stuckert short, Stuckert open I can say, or stuck short, stuck open I can say. That is nothing but the short circuit between two signal line or open circuit between two signal line. That term I can call this bridging fault model. Now let us go for the first model, that is Stuckert fault model. The Stuckert fault model, we need to assume some of the circuit lines are permanently fixed at logic 0 or logic 1 due to some failure. So example, if I am having a 1 AND gate example, okay, this is one AND gate. Now what I'm doing, we have to assume some of the circuit lines are permanently fixed at logic 0. Means I can say this is your A, this is B actually. What I'm doing, I'm going to check. This is, you think about this B is stuck at 0. Means stuck at 0 means what? The B is permanently connected to ground. The B is permanently connected to ground, but it won't be you cannot view this physically actually. Okay, you may think it's not like physically, but it's like internally here it is connected to ground. You have to think. Now when you are applying A is equal to 0, B is equal to 1, I may get this AND gate 0 only I will get. Okay, but when I give A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 1, but I won't get the output as 1, I will get as 0 only. Now you may think what is the problem? So which input is stuck? That we have to check, right? So how we have to test in the sense, if it is AND gate, we have to make an assumption. Yes, this is stuck at 0 if I make. So it is wrong actually. So what I should do, I should make stuck at 1. Then only the possibility I will get. Because if I make stuck at 0 in this place, just example I'm saying, if I want to test this AND gate is working or not, how will test? So very simple. So how you know that the AND gate is working or not? So this will be your A, correct? This is your one of the input B. Now I need to check whether it's working or not. So normally what you will do, you will apply the truth table 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. But what I need, so like if I make B is stuck at, means you are assuming it is permanently connected to 0. What will happen? My output will goes to 0 only, it won't change. There should be a change actually, right? 0 and 1, both I should get in the output. I will get, you should think my B is stuck at 1. Means my B is connected to VDD permanently. You should think like that. Now what will happen? When I apply A is equal to 0, I will get output as 0. When I apply A is equal to 1, I will get output as 1. Then this circuit is working fine. So like this we have to test. So later we'll see how we are doing. Same, this model dates from board level design, where it was determined to adequate for modeling faults. Now it is a very popular fault model as it can model any realistic physical failures actually. So now it is technology independent actually. The fault model is technology independent. Why? In the sense, it can be NMOS technology or can be CMOS technology, it can be BiCMOS or TTL or ECL, any technologies actually. Next, the faults on line A denoted as, like say example this one, right? How you have to denote in the sense, this is A in the sense, if you think this is a fault line, A is a fault line, then I can say like example, it can be a stuck at 0 or we may represent as SA0 by shortcut, that is stuck at 0. And sometimes if you want to make stuck at 1 or SA1. So we'll represent like this only. So they will write like this. SA0 means stuck at 0. SA1 means stuck at 1. Now, fan out stems and the fan out branches are considered separately. What is the meaning of that? Fan out stem and fan out branches. So let us say here, if I'm having Now let's consider. Let me consider this is your one AND gate. Here I'm getting like this. One more input here. It is one OR gate. Okay. Then here one more OR gate. Simple circuit. Okay. Now see here this portion. This one is called as stem. This is called as stem. The stem has, this is nothing but what? It is a branch. Like as you know in your tree, right? So this is the stem, this is the branch. That is why we see fan out stems and fan out branches are considered separate. Why you have to consider separate means you may think, what is the voltage level I'm getting here? Say example, if my voltage level is 5 volt here, example, the same voltage level 5 volt only will be here. But we cannot say whether this is connected properly internally. Don't see outside, right? So we need to consider this is separately, this is separately, this is separately. So we need to consider fan out stems and the fan out branch are considered separately. We may think, what is fan out? The fan out is the output of the gate. That one I can call as fan out. This is a fan out. So this output of this AND gate is driving two gates. Correct. Though here I can say the fan out is 2. So how many? The number of inputs driven by the gate. So that only I can call as fan out. Sometimes what will happen? Large fan out also will be the same. So one gate, this may drive so many like this. So I can say based on this, the fan out is 4 because it is driving the 4 gates actually. So now here you see we are showing here a circuit with single stuck fault. So always you see at a time we cannot have more than one stuck fault. So each and every time only one stuck fault for single stuck we can say, not multiple. We are using just single stuck at fault. Now here these all are input simple circuit. Here this cross mark N2 mark that specifies here what is it? It is we are assuming this portion is fault actually. Okay. So example, if you're not considering, so you don't assume the fault here first. Okay. Now I'm applying the input as 1, 1, 1, 0. This is the input. Now this is the NAND gate. What I'll get? 0 I'll get. Now one inverter will be 0. Next this is a 0, 0, 0. OR gate is 0. Then it is OR gate 0. So actually the expected output should be 1. Okay. But this is the original output. This is the original output we have to get. This is the original. But which output I'm getting in the sense 1 we are getting. This is the output we are getting. Now what is it? When I apply this input, if I get as 1 means somewhere there is a issue over there. So you can apply the stuck fault anywhere you can apply. Not only here, you can apply anywhere. So now for simple example, we are applying the stucket here actually. We are applying the stucket in this place. Where for NOT gate we are applying. Means here see this portion. NOT gate output. Correct? Now here see the one cross mark we may specified that is SA S/1 means what is this S/1? That meaning is SA-1 means stuck at 1 means this is permanently connected to this line, is permanently connected to VDD. Now you see the corresponding, which one I noted here, the inverter, right? This inverter, see the inverter layout here. This is inverter layout. This is your VDD, this is the VSS. Now the polysilicon, this is the polysilicon, the input, correct? Because CMOS, this is a CMOS circuit. Now this is the drain circuit. This is the drain. This is the drain. Okay. So connected output. This is the output. Now you can see here. You can see that is here short circuit here inside. See that from here to here. Which shows with the yellow color here. This is actually it is a short circuit. It is like why in the sense we can see that. So now what happened? the output is, which is output, this one, the output is shorter to VDD. So due to that, we got the output as like this. So that's why here we are making stuck at 1. So now if I make stuck at 1 in the sense, now we have to check the output here only, correct? Okay, if it is stuck at 1 in the sense, we are checking for not for here, we are checking only for this. When I give input is equal to 0, output will be made as what? We assumed as here the output is stuck at 1, means permanently connected to 1. Okay. So when I give input is 0, 1. Okay, fine. But when I apply input is equal to 1, my output is not changing. Means the problem is there in the output actually. Correct. Like that only we have to understand each and every stage we have to understand that. Or we can make even stuck at 0 also here. If I make stuck at 0 in the sense, we have to check whether it is permanently connected to ground, this portion. Connecting to ground, then you can check. So it is, everything is based on us. But there is some basic concept is there. For basic gates, what stuck at you have to make, like a stuck at 0 or stuck at 1. That is some constant is there. Okay, this is what the simple we can say. So now, if it is stuck at fault here, if I make in the sense, so this output will get fault. Due to this, this also will get fault. So what we have to do in the sense, what is the output? We can, to correct this, from the output, we have to propagate the value from the output to input. For that only one more method is there, how to do that. Now we'll see the example here is showing a 2-input XOR function realized using 2-input NAND gate. This is the XOR gate actually. This is the XOR gate using 2-input NAND gate we used. You see this here, A, B. So NAND gate here, this is something about your fan out stem. As I said, this is nothing but your fan out branch. Now we can have input is 2. Okay, A, B. Now the line, see this line actually, because from here to here, one branch I'm getting. If it is, I need to consider this and this will be different then. If I'm not having anything line over there, then it is same. Some connection if I take, automatically this will become different. B1, same the way, A, this is your A1. Now it is C in the sense, it is dividing 2. So C1, C2. Same the way, this is a D, this is E, the same it's going. That is why I'm not taking anything. The same thing one is doing. It's not, if it is goes one more line like this, then this will become as E1, this is E2. Finally is F. Now here, how many lines are there in this? We have to say how many lines totally? 12 lines. How 12 lines in the sense? We see this is 1 line, 2 line, 3. This is 4. Then this is 5th. This is 6. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Totally 12 lines in this circuit. You can count to see 1, not lines, you count this variable better. That is why we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You see the variable, count the variable, you got 12 lines. You have to include this also. Okay, that is 12 lines in the circuit. Now, how many stuck at fault will be there? The possibility is stuck at 0 and the stuck at 1. For each and every line, 2 fault I can consider, either 0 or 1. That is why here we can say for A, that is SA, stuck at A 0. This is the specification. So here they were specified as A/0, means this is equivalent to this. SA-A-0 means stuck at A0. Then stuck at A1. That meaning is the A is stuck at 1. So same the way for B also. I will write stuck at B0. So like this. So you can apply anywhere else, you can test. It's like this only we have to test. Now you can see the example here, you'll see. So especially the fault models are most frequently occur due to gate oxide. This is what earlier I said. due to gas oxide shorts, that is the NMOS gate to ground or the PMOS gate to VDD, or metal to metal short also can happen. Now you can see example, this is the example, you see, for example A, B, C, this is the one circuit. I can say this input, I can say the input D, you can say this is the input D. Now it is stuck at 1 actually, means stuck at 1 in the sense it is permanently 1. If it is permanently 1 in the sense, then it will be fault, because my input, like say example A, 1, 1, 0, 0. When I apply, what is the expected output I should get? This is NAND gate, right? NAND gate in the sense 1, 1 means 0, NAND gate 0, 0, 1, then NOR gate 0, 1, 0. This is, should be your expected output, but I might have got output as 1. So now you have to check for this. So you can check anywhere, even you can check here, you can check here also. It is left to us. We cannot check stuck in the output place. It's very, very important. Either you can check here or you can check here only. Right? So now here is permanently connected to 1. Now we can say here, example, in this NAND gate. So you know the NAND gate truth table. What is the truth table for NAND gate? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. What is the truth table is 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay. Now we'll see 2 input is there. Okay. So 2 input and I have, this is the 2 inputs. Now we'll see what I should have in the sun. If I make this is stuck at 0 means, example, if I make this is stuck at 0. So what I will get, if the C is 0, I can observe the output as 1. If the C is 1, my output is what? Again, I'll get as 0. See, I'll get. So I can work like this also, or I can make stuck at 1 also. So you have to see proper output you are getting or not, you have to see. Okay, stuck at 1. If it is connect stuck at to 1, means we are connecting permanently to VDD. Then we are checking. That is the meaning of that. Okay, internally. So it will be done in the internally here, because this is nothing but what? It's a PMOS gate, because this signals everything what you are applying. Externally we are applying, correct? Instead of applying externally, internally what you are doing, you are checking. You are just stuck at 0 means internally this input is connected to the VDD, means 1 is applied. Then we are applying the values, we are checking. So if it is giving proper output, then I can say there is no error in the modeling. If it is not giving proper value, then I can understand. So here problem is there. So now see this here. See, very important. See what happened here. This is your VDD. Okay, this is your VDD. There is a contact here. See now the contact may have metal on, right? See the distance here. They said this is the mistake. This is your polysilicon. The polysilicon, and here these two metal short circuit. So now I can say this gate is short circuit to VDD. Same the way even here also. The gate is short circuited to VSS. So here you see this is second constant stuck at 0. You see, same this input only. The input is we are connecting to VSS permanently. Stuck at 0 means what? This line we are connecting permanently to 0. That is the meaning of that. Permanently, if you connect to 0, then we have to check whether it is giving the output properly or not. Like that, each and every place we can check whether it is properly giving or not. Like this only you have to test. So now here the bridging fault model. The bridging fault model means short circuit and open circuit fault. Where it will happen? Short circuit, open circuit. So the problem is like this. Example, this is nothing but the diagram for AB plus CD the whole bar actually, correct? Now you see here, this is the corresponding layout. Now here the C and D, okay. If we think this is source, example, I think like this only, okay. This is the drain and this is the drain. You think the C drain and this D drain are short circuited here. Correct? C and D drain is short circuited. Okay, that is fine. Next you see, you think this is both are drain in the sense, you assume, okay, just to make everything make an assumption only, you are making this is drain, or source drain, then again I can say source I can take, then I can say as drain. Actually this is drain, we can say. Okay, now A drain and B drain also short circuited. A drain and see this is A and B drain. This is what, see this is nothing but your output. This line is your output. Now we'll see this line is your this connection. Which connection? This connection. Okay, now you see the, see, as you know, we need to follow some design rule, correct? See, this is a metal one, this is a metal one. So there is a minimum distance separation is not there. It's very closely is there. So I can say what will happen. This two will become as like what's kind as it's a short circuit. The system will identify short circuit, means this line and this line will be short circuit actually instead. So if it is get short circuit, automatically what will happen? This expression will get changed. My output will become wrong. That is what internally. Same the way you see this here. This A and this short circuit here. You see here we show. See the gate and this ground. Even here also short circuit. See, this is a short circuit. So here. Next, if you want to say open circuit, how it will be open circuit now? So the open circuit will be like this. See here, we are showing the another way. See here, this is the circuit. Okay, this is NOR circuit. This is a NOR circuit. You see the corresponding layout diagram. You see. See here, open circuit. So this is also will happen if you're not connected properly here. Next, this is what, see, the open, this indicates this. Same the way, see, this is short circuit. So this is the short circuit. You don't consider the short circuit is only this. Even this also, this will form as a short circuit only due to this. Like what will happen if two materials, same materials are running parallelly like this? What will happen? There will be a crosstalk. Crosstalk means it's kind of what? It's kind of the noise. It's like noise means like kind of the short circuit only, we can say. So this is what it shows here. Now in the manufacturer, the two terms are very, very important. The one is the observability, another one is controllability. Because we need to observe the output for each and every node of the blocks. Same time, the controllers in the sense like if you want, when you're going for the testing, may need to control the input of each and every block. That should be observed in the output side. So now here the observability. The observability, it's of a particular circuit node is the degree to which you can observe that the node at the output of an IC circuit. That is the pins. That is nothing but what? The pin in the sense, which is the pin I can call? The pin is nothing but, if I say this is a gate, this is the pin, this is the pin, and this is the pin. Normally I can call the input and the outputs are pins normally. So I can say we have to observe the output for the given inputs. So don't worry about the internally. Okay. So it is relevant when you want to measure the output of a gate within a larger circuit to check that it's operate correctly. So it is relevant when you're having a large circuit, like when you're having a large number of gates, the output of gate within a larger circuit to check that is operates correctly. So that is all nothing but a observe. Just we have to observe that. Now here, given the limited number of nodes that can be directly observed. If it is a number of nodes are limited, say example means your circuitry is a very small circuit, then directly we can observe the output. But it is a aim of good chip designers to have easily observed gate outputs. So the aim of the good chip designer is they have to easily observe the gate outputs. So normally each and every gate we need to test it. We need to observe the output for the corresponding inputs. Next, adoption of some basic design for test techniques can be tremendously in this respect. Now, ideally, you should be able to observe directly or with moderate indirection. So sometimes what will happen when you're working on a sequential circuit, we need to wait for some few cycles for every gate output within an integrated circuit. In the sense, as you know, how we are doing in the sense, like when you're going to test it, if it is a sequential circuit, what will happen? You have to wait for each and every cycles. Or sometimes, example, I can say, if you're going for memories, so what will happen? It will take the data should be read, it has to be fetched and it has to execute, right? The instructions and all. So at the time, we need to wait for some few cycles. So I can say every gate output within an integrated circuit. Now, the very important here, the disadvantage is the expense of extra test circuitry. Very important in the manufacturer side, if you want to test some of the circuit, we need to have some extra test circuit to test the given circuit is good or bad, or given IC is good or bad. For that, what you need a expense to design a extra circuit. So example, I can say, like a simple example, if you want to say, you might have done in your logic design lab, correct? In your logic design lab, what you did, after getting the one IC, in our lab, we might have had called a digital IC tester. What we'll do, we'll use that IC in the digital IC tester, then we test it, then we'll use, right? So like in that manufacturer also, what they will do, they will use some kind of one circuit, that circuit, the extra circuit, to test the given circuit. This is our original circuit example, okay? This I need to test it. For that, I need a additional one more circuit is required to test this. Because it has to be done internally. Externally, I won't do. It has to be done in the external, internally. And the lack of design methodology. So current process and the design practices allow you to approach this ideal actually. So that is what the observe. Next is the controllability. That is what here, the controllability of an internal circuit node. See, you can say observe is nothing but the external, I can say. That is a pins input and the output. But the controllability is nothing but internally. Internally in the sense, say example, this is your AND gate. Correct? So A, B. This is my output Y. Now the internal in the sense, see here internally, here. See, it may connected to some internals. So we need to monitor this actually. So internal circuit node within a chip is a measure of ease of setting the node to 1 or 0 state. That is why I can say the internal is nothing but stuck. So we can control this gate by applying the proper stuck value, that is stuck 0, stuck 1 value. The importance of the controllability is when assessing the degree of difficulty of testing a particular signal within a circuit. The an easily controllable node would be directly settable via input pad. See, so how can I set in the sense? See, internally, I should think it is trying to be setting to VSS or VDD. That I can do by externally applying the pad. Pad in the sense, what is the input pad, output pad means? Now, this is your IC, right? So, it's the IC will have, these are the pins. These are the pins. Right? These are the pins. So now I'm having the complete like this is the input pin. Internal IC will be the right. These are like it is a pad input pin like semi connected. Internal will be there. So here I should connect. This is where input pad. These are the input pads. Now a node with little controllability such as the MSB bit of a counter. Like if you're having a counter, 4-bit counter example, the input is clock counter. Then in input, I may have reset pin. Then this will be your output, It is output is Y. Now the MSB bit of Y, it is a 4-bit counter, might require many hundred or thousands of cycles to get into right state, to get into the right state. So example, get into right state in the sense like if this counter is driving any other things, you may think once it reaches, example I can say, when I can say the counter reaches the maximum count. So based on your MSB bit, as an example, if I make MSB bit like this, when I get here, then I can say it is enter into the right state. So this is and all, everything is based on the design. So based on this, I can control. Why? Because I will design a one counter. This counter will control the other circuits. Okay. How it will control in the sense, example, I hope now you can remember your the circuitry of digital to analog converter. The digital to analog converter, what it will do, I need to generate the waveform that is called as clock division. So in the clock division, what it will do, if it is a 8-bit counter in the sense, say example, the 8-bit counter I may get, or 4-bit counter, example take 0, 0. Next time, when I'll get MSB 1, 0, 0, then final value is 1, 1, 1. When I'll get MSB value is equal to 1, after 7 clock cycles only I'll get as 1, right? So it's very, very simple to run after 1000 cycles to get the right state. So I can say when I'll get this 1, then in this way I can do. So that it should be the aim of good chip designers to make all nodes easily controllable. So the aim of the good chip designers, we can ensure all the nodes are easily controllable. All the nodes in the sense we are having a one circuit, each and every line. That is what I can say. Every node can be controllable, applying the proper values. In common with the observability, that is why I said controllability and observability. Observability, the adaptation of some simple design for test techniques can aid in this respect tremendously. So making all flip-flops resettable via global reset signal in one step forward, good controllability. So normally if you are having a one circuit, so you may have so many flip-flops will be the internal circuit. What I should do, I need to make a reset of all the flip-flops globally. The globally means externally we may have one reset signal. We have to reset all the flip-flops to perform any testing, each and everything. So that is normally what we will do. Before we do anything, we must to reset it first. That is why once if we are going to design any counter, what we will do normally, first we need to reset the counter. Then only the counter will start to count, right? So then we have we can observe the output. So that has to be done with the help of controllability. Now the next, the manufacturer test the method is fault coverage. The fault coverage is nothing but it's the ratio of number of detected fault to the total number of fault possible. It is like a probability. Say example, if I'm having a one circuit, the total number of possible fault is 24. Example, total number of possible fault is 24. In that, if I detect 4 fault, number of fault is 4, then 4 by 24, I may get the fault coverage. Always you have to think the fault coverage you should get very, very less. You'll get conceptually, which a calculator as follows like this. Say example, how we can calculate the fault coverage here. You can see each circuit node is taken in sequence and held to what? Stuck at 0, and the circuit is simulated. See, we are taking a circuit and we are taking the sequence and we are held to stuck at 0 any node. Okay, then the circuit is simulated with the test vectors. Test vectors means your input test vectors comparing the chip output with a known good machine. So a circuit with no nodes artificially set to 0. So example, I'm having one circuit like this. Okay, I'm having one short circuit. I'm having like this. Now I can say, so like each circuit node is like sequence and held it to 0. Means stuck at 0. Everything stuck at 0. all the values. If I get example, this is my original output. Once I apply stuck, if I get as same, then these two output will be compared. That is, I can say the original output will be compared with the existing one. Whatever after testing, both are matching, then I can say known as good machine. Which I can say good machine means a circuit with the nodes artificially set to 0 or 1 means I'm not forcing this or this node to 0 or 1. If I'm not making artificially this one, if I get the output as original, as expected output, if I get without applying the artificial, then I can say that kind of machine is called as good machine. Now, when a discrepancy is detected between the faulty machine and good machine, so because I'm having two machines, one is fault machine, another one is good machine. So now what I will do, the fault is marked as detected and the simulation is stopped. In the sense, fault in the sense, I'm having the circuit like this, correct? This is my circuit. Which is your circuit? This is your circuit. This is your circuit. Yeah, this is your circuit. Now you can see, I need to check this portion. Okay, I'm giving some stuck fault. So when I apply 0 and 1, I will example, I have to get output as 0, but if my output is 1, what is the meaning of that? So there is a problem in this actually. Right, so it is defected. So like this, we have to find out where how many defects are there. That is why, so the direct between the fault machine and the good machine, this is your separate. So I will take the original corrected good machine and this is nothing but I can say faulty circuit. So the fault is marked as detected and your simulation will be stopped actually. When the simulation when running for all your test vectors, once the stop is fault. So as simple I can say in your program, in your VHDL program or your Verilog program, when you're writing some code here, okay, what will happen? I can do something called as in this place, I can have some called as node. That is, I can keep some fault mark. That is called as node. This can be break. I can say breaking node. You might have done in your C program. What will happen when I apply some breaking in this sum of the statement from this to here? The run will run. Correct. But normally in the C program, normally what will happen? It is a sequential. So it is like it is like sequential in the sense first line if it is correct, then only second line will run. Third, fourth, then if there is something wrong over there, your simulation will get stopped. It will come out means in this particular line there is some fault is there. So that is what I can say here. Like this only it will do. So this is repeated for setting the node to 1. In turn, every node is stuck at 1 or 0 sequentially. So each and every node we need to check like this. We should make stuck at 0 or stuck at 1. Then we have to check with the proper input whether I'm getting properly or not. So now the fault coverage of the set of test vectors and the percentage of total nodes that can be detected as faulty when the vectors are applied. The fault coverage of the test vectors in the sense applying the input pattern. Say example, if it is the input is 4 input in the sense, total number of test vectors are 16 actually. Correct, the test vectors are 16 in the sense, out of the 16, the percentage of total nodes that can be detected as fault here. So the possible fault here, how many in the sense, like say example, this, so you have to count the number of possible fault. This is the one possible fault. Here, this is the one possible fault. Then this is the one possible. This is so 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So total possible fault is 4. Now the detected fault is only 1. So 25% fault coverage. So to achieve the world-class quality level, the circuits are required to have an excess of 98.5% the fault coverage. So with the help of this, we can do. Now, what do you do in the sense, whatever is in that only, the one of the method is very important thing is this is automatic test pattern generation, that is ATPG. From the name itself, we can see test pattern generation. Earlier, we need to generate the test pattern and the manually will generate. Now, automatically. To generate automatically, what we need? We need here some additional equipment is required. So, this is nothing but your ATPG example, automatic test pattern generation. This will be given to the circuit under test, CUT will call, or DUT we can call, design under test, circuit under test. What will happen? This will generate the pattern separately. It will give it to circuit. Then we can observe the output. This is what normally we'll do. So now we can say the automatic test pattern generation or ATPG is a process used in semiconductor electrical testing. Semiconductor electrical testing, where the vectors or input patterns required to check a device for fault are automatically generated by a program. This is what you are using in your digital IC trainer test. What will happen? Automatically, the test patterns will be generated inside, it will test, but it won't check for all the patterns. Say, example, you are applying the one IC. You have to give which IC the number is, okay. Once you given for that IC number, the IC may have 3 input, 1 output actually. What this ATPG will do? Already the test patterns or test vectors are, it's deployed in the ATPG. It may have inbuilt of ROM. Inbuilt ROM will be the memory, will be the inbuilt read-only memory. So inbuilt, there will be some set of test vectors will be there. So that will be applied in the input. It will check whether it is giving the proper output or not. Once it's given, you will get the yes, the test is okay. Then you can take out your IC, you will do. But that is not 100% efficiency actually, because you can say if it is here 8-bit input or 16-bit input, you know that 8-bit input in this is how many test vectors? Totally 200 test cases, 256 test cases we have to check, but it is not required to check all the 256 test cases. Example, also simple example I'll say here. One of the example I'll take. Consider here 4:1 marks. Okay. When you're considering on 4:1 marks, this is the one 4:1 marks. You consider I'm having 2 selection line. This is my up. Okay. Now, what I need to do now? I need to apply the input. Now you see when my selection line is equal to 0, 0, it has to select this only. Correct. I no need to worry about this. Is it correct? So what I can do now? I will make this as stuck at 0 or 1. Okay. SA1. I'll say example. Stuck at 1. So it can be anything actually. So when I apply 0, stuck at 1 means what is permanently connected to VD. So I will get as 1. If I make stuck at 0, then automatically I will get as 0. Then I can say yes, it is correct. Then for second 0, 1 means instead of this, I will apply this. Stuck at 0 or 1. So what is the simple I can say now? Instead of 4 input is the right. 4 input means totally how many test cases? 16 test cases are required, but I no need to apply all the 16 test cases. Only 4 test cases is sufficient. What are the 4 test cases? First test case for me is, I can say 1, 0, sorry. First test case is 0, 1, 1, 1. Second test case is 1, 0, 1, 1. Third test case is 1, 1, 0, 1. Fourth test case is 1, 1, 0. See, this much test case, if I use stuck at 0, if I use stuck at 1, then automatically again the test case will get changed. In the sense, I can say stuck at 1 means 1, 0, 0, 0. Next, 0, 1, 0, 0. See, it is like this. So only 4 vectors are sufficient. See, 1, 2, 3. Only these 4 value will be loaded in the ATPG, test pattern generation. Okay. So what happened when I give the mux IC over there? It take for only for this 4 vectors will be applied. It will check yes, test is fine. It will give. So the time will get reduced instead of applying all the 16 possible combinations. So now here you can see the input generated by the test. So the vectors are sequentially applied to the device under test, and the device response to each set of inputs is compared with the expected response from the good circuit. That is why each and every time what will happen, we have your ATB, you will have inside any circuit you will have called as lookup table. Example, the lookup table will have the correct truth table of the given circuit. Okay, so example, this is the correct truth table for a multiplexer. So this will be your ATBG. ATBG, then this will be your multiplexer, that is circuit under test. What I will do here, I will apply some output I will get. So this and your LUT, this your LUT circuit under test and your LUT both will check the comparator. Then the comparator will produce the output as equal. If it is both are same, then the test, what I can say, the IC is good. Okay, if the comparator fails, it's not equal, then IC has some problem. Simple. So that is what here they said. Okay, so now here you can compare the expected response from the good circuit access. So that is why an error in the response of the device means that is faulty. If it is an error in the response. So the effectiveness of the ATBG is measured primarily by the fault coverage achieved on the cost of performing the test. Now, as the device density increases, see, the testing is difficult to check all the tests because this is very simple for very less number of gates actually. If the number of gates increases more, then it is very, very difficult to apply for that, because if it is a 4-bit means it is easy, but if it is 8-bit also somewhat easy, only 256. But if it is a 16-bit or if it is a 32-bit, if it is 16-bit only, it will go as beyond like around 65,000, more than 65,000 test patterns, the test vectors are required. It is very, very difficult. So for that, what we have to do, we have to go for some other testing method. So that is here, the generation of test is basically a mathematical process actually. So the test generation actually, it's a mathematical process that can be done in 3 ways actually. The one way is manual method. Second is using some certain algorithm they can generate. Third one is pseudo random method. Randomly we can generate the test vectors. So manually. So now here the software used for complex ATBG applications are quite expensive actually, the complex ATBG applications. But the process of generating a test needs to be done only once at the end of the design process. See, very important, if you want to test any one IC, there is a component called as ATE, that is automated test equipment. This is called as automated. Compared to the fabrication cost, the testing machine cost will be more actually. It is more expensive actually. So like it is for complex ATBG application. For that purpose, what they will do, they'll use for only the software only we'll use. We go for the programming methods. Applicable quite excellent, but the process of generating test needs to be done only once at the end of the design process. Now, when creating a test, the goal should be make it as efficient in memory space. Why? In the sense, as I say, if it is a 8-bit in the sense 2 to the power of 8 is nothing but 256 text vectors. So I need only very less memory to store the 8-bit words in the 256 8-bit data. How many word lines I need? 256 word lines are required. Address, right? If I go for 16-bit in the sense, what will happen? 16-bit data lines, my utter lines 2 power 16 actually. So my memory size will be more. So automatically what will happen if I can't make my memory sizes large here? That is why. So when you create a test, the goal should be make it efficient in memory space and time requirement as much as possible. Why? Because as the memory sizes increases, there will be a delay to access the data from the memory actually to test. It will take much delay actually. So as such, the ATBG process must generate the minimum or near minimum set of vectors needed to detect all the important fault of the device. So here with the help of the ATPG, we can work for only the minimum set of vectors we can use. We cannot use for more number of vectors. So we cannot say the ATPG is 100% accuracy. We cannot say. So here the one of the method here in the ATPG, how we can test in the sense, the method is called as algorithm method, I said, right? Manually is fine. When I go for the algorithm, the name of the popular algorithm will use, it's a D algorithm. Name is D algorithm. See here, you have to generate a test. See, this is our circuit. 4 inputs are there. If I'm having 4 inputs, you know that I need totally 16 test cases. But instead of going for 16 test cases, just like what I'm going to do here, test vector, only one test vector is sufficient to check everything. Say example, okay. So further, what I will do, generate a test for E is equal to 1. So like example, one node you have to check. First, I'm going to check only for E. How will find out whether like generate a test for E? Okay, here. So now we made as stuck at 0. Example. If we made it is stuck at 0 in the sense it is nothing but what? That node is permanently connected to ground. You see. Now how can I check in the sense one the possibility is, so we have to go here if it is 0 in the sense. Okay, then what should be the input of this? What should be the input of? Say example, if it is 0, example, if I think this is 0 instead of 1, say example, f is equal to 1 instead of 0, if I say, if I make, you are assuming this is the fault here, fault is here. Okay, so now what will be done? If it is, this is 0, if it is, this is 0, if I make stuck at 0 here, what will happen? I'll get a 0 only. If I make this is stuck at 0, right? 1, I'll get us 0 only. See, my output is not changing, even though if I change. That is nothing but control will be taken. This is a control. We are going to control this. See, observing the output. Instead of that, I will say stuck at 0 I kept, right? Now what I will do, assume this is 1. Now if I make this is the 1 in the sense, what will happen? So this will be like a 0. I will get just I'm applying value is 1 now. Okay, so I will get a 0. Now we'll see 0, even this also will be 0. Then what will be there? Output will be 0. If it is, this is stuck at 1. Say example here, we are fault in the sense, assume it was 0. Now here we make us stuck at 1 now. See here, generate a test for E1 means stuck at 1. We are making stuck at 1 means this is connected permanently to VDD. If it is connected permanently VDD in the sense, assume, okay, see, this is connected, this is error, okay, assume this place is error actually. So what you're doing, we are going to do stuck at 1. Stuck at 1 is permanently connected to 1, okay, permanently connected to 1 in the sense, if I think this is 0, I will get 0. If it is 1, I will get as 1. That is a changes, right? So normally when I go for any test stuck at, we need to kept assign this value as 1 only for AND gate. For OR gate, we have to fix as 0 only here. Okay, because AND gate always, as you know, when you will get AND gate output as high. When, say example, any one of the inputs. So normally when I go for testing, what I will do, one input I should connect to VDD. Okay, then this is my input. Assume as this is the one input A. Okay, now this will be your output. Okay. Now when input is 0, what I'll get? Y is equal to 0. I'll get AND gate. When this is 1, I will get as 1. So very simple. I can say any one input is 0, output is 0, else output is 1. So for that satisfy this case, we have to make as 1. Same with your OR gate. What is OR gate? Like any one input, I'll make 0. then my output will be what? You don't think about this, okay? When 0, 0 means 0 only. So 0, 1 means 1 I'll get. 1, 0 means 1 I'll get. 1, 1 means 1 I'll get. See here, 1. All are 1 when here. So when 0 I'll get, both should be 0. So that is why I made it 0 here. So I can say when I make 0, I'll get 0. When I make 1, I'll get as 1. See, he's saying 1. If I give 0, I'll get as 0. If it is 1, I'll get as 1. See, the value is getting changed. That is the reason. So what I should do now, I should go in a back trace. We have to do the back trace. That is back trace towards the primary input and assign values to get inputs as required. So now you have to back trace. How we can back trace in the sense, simple example. This is 1. This is 0. We fix it. Okay. Now from here we have to back trace. We have to back trace from here. So now when you do back trace over here, what will be value? This is output is 0. This is here problem is I'm saying is like we are generating a test, correct? So we are generating test in the sense stuck at 1. If I make stuck at 1 in the sense, I can say already the value is 0, right? Here the value given as 0. Here the value given as 0. When I'll get 0 actually here? When both are 0 only, I'll get a 0. Yes. So apply 0, 0. Now here it is 1. Already we know, right? Now when I'll get this one, the inverter is 0 only. Then this is 0. Now you see this is 0. When this is 0, when I'll get 0 actually, this is 0. Now you'll see I doesn't know what this is supposed to be. Because D actually can be 0, I will get 0. Even D is 1 also, I will get 0 only. That is what I can do. D can be X. So my test vector is what? 0, 0, 0, X. See? This is one of the test vector actually I can say. This is one test vector. So like this, we can find out with the D algorithm where exactly is the fault. Here the fault is here, okay? So sometimes we can think like if it is fault is here, how to approach. So applying the generate a test for stuck at 1 at E. So same we have to apply. So this is like this algorithm is not there for you actually. This is a simple example I've shown actually. This is for same example. These are the set here. What will be the minimum set is required? That is why here no need to go for all the values. Just any only one values are required. These are the values. See, these are the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the minimum sets are required. This value only will be stored in a memory to check our circuit whether it is providing the working or not correctly. These are the tests. So here overall we are showing how to test. This is my test pattern. See, 1 1 0 1 0 0 1 0. These are my test pattern input vectors. We are giving to the circuit. This is our circuit under test. Now you have to see the test response. See that the test response is like this 1 0 0 0 0 1 0. How we know this test response is correct or wrong means whether your circuit is correct or whether it is defect or whether it's giving error. So how to check the test response value? You have to take the stored correct response. This is like I said, right? The correct response value we stored already. So these two will be compared. This will be your test result. If the test result is 1, say example, 1 means true. If it is true, then your IC is good. Correct? 1 means good. IC is good. If it is 0, if I'm getting compare, means what? Not equal. Correct? Means your IC is bad. So it is a defected IC, we can say. Like this way, you have to check. So delay fault testing, here also very simple, the delay fault testing actually. This is like based on the propagation delay of all path in a circuit must be less than the clock period for correct operation. Say example, if you are having any one circuit from input to output, when applying a clock, right? So the clock is nothing but around 1 nanosecond, means the time will take from input to output within a 1 nanosecond, it will produce the output. That is the propagation delay of all path in a circuit must be less than the clock period. What is the clock period is? So less than that we'll get. Next, the fault model dealt with until this point of neglect the timing. Still now we are not pointed out the timing over there. Now how it will be happen in the sense, let me show you example. See here, this is our circuit. This is the inverter actually. This is the inverter. See here, NMOS both are parallel. That is A plus A, right? This is A plus A. This is AMOS. PMOS both are parallel, means A dot A. So what happened? So this is nothing but a one inverter kind of circuit. We can see here the connections where it is made. See this place, open circuit. See here, open circuit. Due to this open circuit, what will happen? There will be a delay in your circuit to produce the output. This is nothing but the delayed timing. That is why we can say here. So if it is open circuit, that is occurs here, see the NMOS transistor source connections connected to ground. That is what we shown. Now delay fault may be caused due to crosstalk. Crosstalk means when two materials are running closely each other, then crosstalk will form. That is also thing. I hope this is clear.